Welcome to Life Happens, where Texans come to protect their legacy and prepare for the second half of life. Join your host, Attorney Kim Hegwood of Your Legacy Legal Care, and our weekly guest as we navigate the challenges that emerge as life happens. Now here's your host, Kim Hegwood.
Good morning and welcome to Life Happens with me, Kim Hegwood, and my very special guest today is Priyanka Johri. Good morning.
Good morning, Kim. How are you doing?
And it's a gloriously beautiful day, so it's all good. And definitely.
Right.
So, Priyanka, you're with Woodlands Echo Realty, is that correct?
That's correct.
All right. And so today we're going to be talking about paying for long-term care through real estate. Because you obviously know, because that's what we're on this call today, is that a lot of people, choose to sell their homes in order to pay for long-term care services. And so,
Yep.
so in your practice, in your business, when you're meeting clients and things like that, who do you find are the people that are selling their houses? What kind of long-term care services are they looking for in order to sell the houses in order to get?
So usually when I get a call, it's a dire situation. Something has happened and it's either the family member or loved one who's calling me, like mom or dad is in the hospital because they have multiple falls and now it's serious and hospital wants them to go somewhere where there's 24-hour care versus going back home where they're living alone or with a spouse who cannot provide that care and support. So long term comes in the picture where like, okay, this person can no longer take care of themselves and they need to go somewhere where there is a care provided by another third party, right? Like a caregivers. So they are going to assisted living or memory care, private or personal care homes. So different situations or different places where they can get that care. But at that point, because situation is dire and a lot of time people haven't thought about it, they don't have long-term care insurance. Most of the time, people in that age group have equity in their home. And that's the only place they have money where they can draw it out and pay for that long-term care.
So for our listeners' perspective, and so because I always like to get, because as an attorney, as an elder law attorney, I tend to say something and it's all nice and legal. So I'm going to ask you. I said I'm an elder law attorney. When I do definitional type stuff, I tend to, more legalese than not. We try hard to make it very simple.
Exactly.
But would you do me a favor and from your perspective and explain to our listeners what long-term care is, from your perspective?
So long-term care is where person has, or the health of a person has declined, where now they are looking at a long-term care. So it's not a small bout of illness where they go to the hospital, get better, come back, or they go to the rehab center, get their therapy and back to normal and go back home. Long-term care comes in the pictures like, hey, body has declined and we can't fix it anymore further. So they are still living with the help of support. So if they can get support for their daily activities, right? So somebody can help them with a shower, somebody can help them put the clothes on, somebody's cooking and cleaning and doing laundry, just day-to-day stuff that they are unable to do themselves alone, then the long-term care comes in the picture. So it's not just the medical side of it, it's also the actual day-to-day living side of it.
So your business is up in the Woodlands.
Mm-hmm.
For those that are listening, and how much are you finding that people are finding that your clientele that are selling their houses? Can you walk us through kind of what's the range of pricing for for assisted living and long-term care and memory care that you're finding in your area?
So it varies so much. If you're going to a small unlicensed personal care home, you may be able to get the care for 2,500 to 3,000. You come to something like what we have licensed personal care homes, which are smaller assisted living homes, but licensed. We range anywhere from 4,500 to 6,000, depending upon the level of care. If you go to the larger facility, they may be somewhere between 6,000 to 8,500. If you add the memory care aspect to it, it can go as high as 12,000, 13,000. So it all varies. And that's where, if you have equity in the home, that money can support you for a certain amount of time.
So how do you find that most of your clientele are paying for the long-term care? Is it they're having to sell the house? Do they have other funds that they're using? What do you find that's most frequently used to pay for in your business?
It's a mix of things, right? So in my personal care assisted living home, I have people who have LTC, long-term care, because somebody like you had helped them plan their future. So they were well prepared for it. Then we have people who were working, it's Houston, right? A lot of people work for oil industry, they were executives and all that. So they have their social security, they have their 401k, they have retirement plans, they have their stocks and bonds. So they are paying it privately, but they have enough resources. Then I have a smaller group of people that, like, they were teachers or they were, in service. They had good insurance and everything, but never thought about the long-term care because they assume like, oh, Medicare will pay for everything. People do not realize that Medicare only pays for your medical bills, not for your actual day-to-day living. And when you're moving into a place like ours or large facility, it's room and board and care plus the medical. So Medicare will still pay for your doctor visits, your medication and all that, but they won't pay for the caregivers, the room, the board, the food, all the other expenses that come in the picture. At that point, so those teachers and stuff, they will come and be like, hey, mom has a paid off house. That's the only money she has. Her social security is maybe $800. So they can't support that, but they have a retirement fund. So that's another $1,200 coming. So now we are 2,000, but we are still short. There's a gap. And that's where it's like, okay, so let's sell the house and get that equity out, put it in a trust, and then you can monthly pay or supplement what they're getting from their social security retirement and what they're lacking, the difference.
And so do you find that people are prepared for this more than not? Because I would imagine that if you've got clientele that are not prepared, it's a lot more challenging to sell that house.
Right. And that's where, so having the assisted living home opened me to these situations where I see people that were like, hey, they don't have a choice, right? Hospitals telling them they can't go back home. They don't have money to sell the house or to pay for the care unless they sell the house. Selling a house takes little amount of time, and they are in that little gap situation. They can hire private caregivers and pay them daily, but private caregiving at home is anywhere from $20 to $30 per day. And if you have a 24-hour caregiver, suddenly you're talking about $18,000 to $24,000. That range. Nobody can afford that. That's where going to like a home like ours, right? How I explain it is like you are sharing the same caregiver. So same caregiver, instead of one person paying that $24,000, we have 5 people sharing that load. So you're not paying that caregiver, you're not paying your mortgage, you're not paying your utilities, you're not paying your food. All the expenses kind of combined together is shared among the people who are providing the care. So that's where the selling a home kind of stretches your dollar, right? Instead of like a lot of people say, but I want to stay in my home. And you just like, if you can find the money to bring somebody in, that money is going to run out pretty quickly. Because if you're paying $24,000 or even $20,000 a month, it's like gone versus paying, say, round number 5,000. Then you have paid for 4 months in that same amount of time. So your money will last 4 to 5 times longer if you move into some other place and let us sell the house. But most of the time, these seniors, they have lived in these homes, they are paid up, and they have been there for 20 years, 30 years. So home has deferred, maintenance. Because as you get older, you start letting things go because you can't take care of those things that you used to be able to take care of yourself. There's a lot of memories, a lot of stuff that people are saving to give to their families when they pass away. So for them, it's a very important thing. But you walk in the house and families get overwhelmed and they call us like, Priyanka, we don't know how we're going to do it. There's stuff in every room in mom's house, and we need to repair, and we need to do all these things. And that's where I started a new service, which is called Texas Mature Move, and it's only for people who are elderly. And we go in, we say, okay, don't worry about it. We are going to give you a bridge loan to start your care. So you don't worry about it. So you can get the care that you want. And we are going to go in, we are going to do the repairs. We are going to declutter. We are going to find the companies that can do the estate sale, who can come in and take the donations, right? We get as much money out of the stuff also, and then get the house ready, stage it, get it painted or whatever needs to be done, put it on the market to get the best dollar. But sometimes we have situations where people are just like, we don't have those 2 or 3 months. We appreciate that you can do this for us, but we really do not have and we don't want to do it. Can somebody come and buy the home as is? And at that point, we almost do like an auction, because I don't like selling a house to a first investor because we don't get as much. So we do auction to investors where we have 10, 20 investors come in and let them bid against each other to increase the value of the house and then sell the house as is. And we can do that within a week to 10 days if the situation is like, we need money now, like we don't have time 2 to 3 months. So depending on the situation, we can tailor-made whatever the solution that family needs.
So besides the real estate business, you also have assisted living, correct?
Yes.
Can you tell our listeners a little bit about what you offer? What makes yours different? Why would somebody want to come stay in yours?
So apart from my real estate and assisted living, I have an animal sanctuary, which has been my life's calling, my passion. So I rescue older and hospice dogs. It's a sanctuary where those dogs come because most of them, they don't get adopted and they would be put down in the shelter. So I bring them to my sanctuary and they live there. But because of that reason, I used to get calls from seniors who would call me crying. It's like, hey, I need to go to assisted living, but I have a dog and I don't want but to be put down. And I don't want him to go to the shelter. I found you. Will you take my dog? Or I'm going to stay in my home. Doesn't matter how risky it is. Doesn't matter how many times I fall in a day. I'm staying home with my dog. And I would advise them to go find an assisted living where they will accept their dogs. And I come to find out there are not many assisted livings that can take dogs and people unless or until that person can take care of their pet themselves. Because assisted livings are not set up and caregivers are not set up there to take care of human and their pets. And once I found that out, I said, I need to find a solution. And solution was, I need to do something about it. So I opened my first Acorn Manor assisted living home with no plans except, this is going to be a home where when somebody calls me and they have a dog, I can tell them, you don't need to worry about giving your dog to my sanctuary. You live with your dog, you move into this place, and when something happens to you, then I will take your dog to my sanctuary. That way, you and your dog can spend your last years together. It has grown, and now we have multiple homes because people kept coming. And surprisingly, we are not only getting people who have pets, we are getting people who love pets and have lost their pets, but they want to be with pets. So our homes are very happy. We do a lot of parties, and we have been told again and again that we are very different. So people who come to us are people who may not be able to take care of themselves, but they still enjoy this life. They still enjoy happy hour. They still enjoy parties and companionship and dogs. And we are able to provide high equity clients or residents or patients with that care because our caregiver to resident ratio is 1:4. So one caregiver taking care of 4 people can provide very, very individualized and personal care. And that's what has made us grow and thrive.
Yeah, well, that's amazing. So Priyanka, tell somebody how they find you.
So they can call me at my cell phone number. I always answer 832-277-3577. And they can call me for anything, for real estate, for assisted living, for dogs, just to ask me questions. If they have a problem, I'm happy to help.
So do you have an email address?
Yes, Priyanka at Woodlands with S, ECO, Realty, REALTY.com.
All right. And so thanks so much. It's been a pleasure. It's so exciting to find because I've got dogs. And matter of fact, we have two of them running around the office all the time now. So we had
Same
one and
here,
now
my dog. Yep.
it's like now we have the other one. So, so yeah, and clients love them, so it makes us feel good. The clients feel good. And the dogs are really, really happy because they're spoiled. So,
I
so
know. Within the Realty office, we always have dogs there. Assisted living have dogs there. I have clients stop by just to see the dogs, not me, but my dogs at my Woodlands Eco Realty office. So I need to come and see your dogs at your office.
there you go. Well, one of them's on the website. He's under our junior
Oh,
associate. We're going to have to get
right.
Rusty up now. So, all right, Priyanka,
Sure.
you have a great day, and thanks so much for being on the show.
Thank you so much for inviting me. I appreciate it.
Thanks for tuning in to this week's episode of Life Happens with Kim Hegwood. Be sure to tune in every Thursday at 10 a.m. wherever you listen to your podcast as we navigate through the challenges that emerge as life happens. The content of this podcast does not establish an attorney-client relationship or constitute attorney-client privilege, legal, medical, financial, or any other professional advice.